Good afternoon, my friends. This is the Grimflayer, and I hope you are all doing very well today. We're playing some more live-recorded competitive league Golgari Midrange just for you, everybody's favorite deck. And as we get started here, playing our first match, we have 4 brand new patrons to thank. We are thanking Mike DiCamara, Brian Smith, David Cordova, and Jack Kinsey. I hope I got all of your names correct, my friend. Brian and Mike are Inquisitors, so welcome aboard. Thank you for supporting the content. David Cordova is a Confidant, so welcome to the fold, my friend. Thank you so much for your support. And Jack Kinsey, well, Jack is of the Vale, so last but certainly not least is Jack. Thank you so much, my friend, for your very, very generous support. So welcome to all of our new patrons, and thank you to all patrons in general, and to anybody else subscribing to this content. So, notably, we have just updated the client, and this is the London Mulligan rule. So you can see a different prompt here than we're used to seeing. We will keep this hand. It's fine in a blind game 1 for sure. But yeah, we've got a different prompt and different mechanics. So we're on the draw here. Let's see what happens. Our opponent has kept 7. Opening on a welding jar. Well, we never like to see that. Welding jar is very good against us. And this is, it appears to be Hardened Scales Affinity, so let's hope our Inquisitions can wreak some havoc here, but this is a tough matchup. Okay, the opponent does have a second land, and they have double Overseer Walking Ballista. Well, as of right now, the Overseers are a bit more of a threat. Ballista obviously gets really out of control, but they don't have any of the stuff to go crazy with it, so I'm going to take an Overseer, and we'll have to pass. They play the other one, they hit us for 1. So, yeah, I think we're pretty priced into using this Inquisition here. This hand would have been so good on the play. On the draw, who knows? We've still got the power to do some good stuff, and right now they've got no gas left in hand, so that is all to the good. And of course, Kalidas is pretty good in the matchup against a lot of stuff. But they've got all the stuff they need to make our life tough, just with their board. We're taking a bunch of Flying Infect here. So Field of Ruin would be a solid draw here, but even so, that still, has us neglecting to deploy a threat this turn. So, Field of Ruin is the draw, and I guess we have to take our window for it right now, because Inkmoth Nexus is the card to beat at the moment. So, before they have the mana to activate it and then regen it with a Welding Jar, we just have to hit it with the field. And we'll go get a forest, and we're shields down. But, again, on the play, this hand could have been a lot better. But if they're still not mustering all that much, we can go Kalidas and then hopefully draw some interaction next turn. And we've got the Pulse, so that's a pretty decent start. The Welding Jar is, of course, still an issue, but yeah, I think we go for the Kalidas. Opponent's going to crack a Canopy. They're on the dig. They have flooded out a bit. No block here. Steel Overseer Pump is going to blow us out if we try. So, just more removal here to overload the welding jars. Ooh, now we have double welding jar, huh? Yikes. It's a little scary. It's a little scary for sure, so I guess, you know, assuming they have a blank in hand, one of our better draws might actually be Liliana of the Veil, who's not usually all that great here, but right now is one of our best ways around the welding jars. Okay. Fatal Push is the draw, huh? So if we pulse away the welding jars, they can blow us out pretty badly by sacking one of them. And then they can even put the regen shield on the Overseer. I also am kind of trying to figure out what that card in their hand might be. However, you know, we did ask for more removal to try to overload the welding jars, and here it is, right? Here it is. So maybe our best play is to simply pulse the Overseer. We'll get a welding jar activation out of it that will tap the Overseer, and then we can maybe just play a Tarmogoyf. We'll attack with the Kalitas, get a little life back. I kind of like that. Have Fatal Push to untap with. Yeah, let's go for that. There's actually an argument for playing the Bob here, but I think we have to play the Tarmogoyf because we don't want them to have necessarily the freedom to just attack with both. And if we play the Bob, they do. Plus, of course, the Bob triggers can wreak havoc. So I think it is still Tarmogoyf, although Bob drawing us to more kill spells is certainly what we kind of need here. Welding Jar is just such a tough card. You know, the opponent's flooding though, so we have a chance. We're going to take this hit for now. We might be in a position to start double blocking from here on out, so we take the hits. Ooh, Liliana's a good draw. Liliana is the draw that we wanted to see. Very nice. Okay, so the opponent will lose their modular friend, and the big question for us is, do we want to play the Dark Confidant, or do we want to hold up Fatal Push? I think I like the Bob. I think I'm going to say Bob pass. Kalitas' life gain should keep us fairly safe. This is definitely mana efficient too. Next turn we're gonna almost certainly be eating a zombie if possible. Oh, the opponent's flood continues. They've got a big play though. A big XX. That's not what we want to see. A 3/3 Walking Ballista. Well, that's a bit of a pain. They'll ping Bob. And they'll ping Lily. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one. Double Fatal Push is a good one too, though. Wow. Okay. So, I guess we're just taking care of the Steel Overseer. We've had some really good draws, guys, not gonna lie. Okay, no blocks from the opponent, so we'll grow the Kalitas using the zombie who's hanging back. I think that's safe enough to do. All right, well, we stole that game one with some really good draws. We just drew a parade of removal, basically, with the opponent flooding out after what looked like a pretty tough one to beat as far as how the opening hands were lining up. We had a fine opening hand, but they had a strong one. That opening welding jar, they were on the play. Didn't look great, but we got there. So, cool. I will always be happy about a game one win against this tough matchup. So Hardened scales, Liliana of the Veil is usually one to board out, but man, she was pretty clutch there. I still think it's mostly correct to get rid of her most, if not all, copies. We certainly have much better cards. Pulse, Damnation, Last Hope, Engineered Explosives. These are kind of our best ones. From there, Collective Brutality, Fulminator Mages are playable, but I don't know if we want all three. Finks is not bad. Finks is not bad, but again, not sure if we want that. So, yeah, nothing else really piquing my interest. These four are definites, and we've got 5 maybe board cards. Probably not all 5, but certainly some number of them will come in. So I like shaving Bobs here. I like shaving some number of Thoughtseize on the basis of life total as well, but and then again, they're a little bit less likely to dump their hand out than regular Affinity, so we do like Thoughtseize a little bit better here. So I think on the draw, Bob is bad enough that we bring a good chunk of them out, say 3. We leverage exactly 1. Same with Liliana of the Veil. So where does that leave us? Well, let's play this Collective Brutality, just more removal. And if we bring in a couple Fulminators, lose a Thoughtseize, this should be pretty fine. I don't think it's necessary to play all 3 Fulminator in this matchup, and I think Thoughtseize might be a little bit more essential to our survival on the draw than on the play. So, with my new 75, I'm looking to run something like this. Let's see how it pans out. It looks fairly well-rounded to me. Okay, we've got a 1-lander. Lots of good stuff, but I think we kind of have to mull the 1-lander. The 1-land 7 at least, so sure, we'll mulligan. First taste of the London mulligan. Yeah, this is fine. It's got a little bit of everything. So we'll keep this, and we've got the London mulligan decision, huh? Right now, we can operate entirely on 2 lands, and I think we're supposed to, being on the draw here. I think we're supposed to bottom this Marsh Flats. We're pretty likely to hit a 3rd land drop by turn 3 when we might need Field of Ruin, even so we don't necessarily. Well, there's Kalitas punishing us for bottoming a land, but what can you do? They've got the turn 1 Hardened Scales, which is terrifying, but we're just going to Fatal Push just about anything they play here. Sadly, it doesn't look like it's a 2-drop. Looks like they will Stirrings for something and then maybe run out of, Arcbound Worker. I'm still going to push this. Yeah, still going to push this. We've got to be mana efficient with this hand on the draw here. Collective Brutality's fine. We have enough gas in hand that I think I'm supposed to play the Bob to try to hit more lands. This is bad against exactly Walking Ballista, but if they've got that plus the hanger back we know about, we might not win anyway, and doesn't look like they do. So Bob is rewarding us already with a couple land flips. So we know about the Walker. And what do we do here? Probably just kind of have to kill the Walker before it gets out of control, don't we? And I don't think we escalate here, so sure. Kill your hangerback, Walker. Run out of fetch land, pass the turn. We're ending up in position to be in a similar situation that we were in Game 1, where we're tapping out on turn 4 for Kalitas, then hoping to top deck removal. That's basically what it looks like it's coming down to, but I guess a couple differences. Number 1, they have Hardened Scales, which makes their top decks a lot scarier. And number 2, we have a Bob on the field, which makes us have more top decks. And 3, we have a better setup. We're sideboarded, you know, so we've got all the goods. I'm going to grab a Tomb on the end step. The opponent did not attack with either Thopter, which is interesting. Alright, Bob will flip Field of Ruin. Oh boy. Well, this Inquisition is either going to be dead or we cast it right now. You know, I still think Kalitas is better. The opponent... I mean, obviously if they have a big XX payoff in hand, that sucks, but... You know, I'm still making the executive decision to tap out for Kalitas. We're really due to hit some spot removal off of our 2 draws next turn. And the sooner we get Kalitas advantage engine rolling, the better. Opponent's just chewing through their Horizon Canopies, so... They clearly didn't have much in hand that I can see. So we're rewarded for playing Kalitas over Inquisition. They've got Mox Opal. They've got the Steel Overseer plus Animation Module combo, which is really nice. Plus the Hardened Scales, which is, you know, obviously really tough to beat. So we need removal for the Overseer this turn, probably. Alright, come on, Bob. Inquisition Fulminator Mage. Well, that's not very good. Not very good at all, I'm afraid. So, yeah, pretty unfortunate that we got ourselves in this position and just whiffed on finding more removal, but let's begin with an Inquisition. Pithing Needle, sure. So... I guess we need to connect with Kalitas here to gain life, basically. And I'm actually going to attack with Bob because the life is becoming a liability, and I'm actually fine trading him for a servo at this point. Because their wide board is just such an issue. Alright. Good, so we get rid of 2 tokens. That's actually... pretty great for us, considering. And now we get to play double Tarmogoyf, and if they brick for a turn, we top deck a piece of removal, we might be okay. Some form of removal. And they did kind of brick for a turn. It's an Inkmoth Nexus was the draw, but they get to Anthem it. We have an answer in the form of Field of Ruin. They get to get their animation module value and get those tokens back. So it's all very, very good for them. But, you know, we are still not dead. Tarmogoyf. Well, I'm afraid that's going to do it. Yep, we're just very, very dead. Not enough removal. Yeah, we used our push and our brutality early on, and I believe rightfully so. Then we just didn't find any more. Well, good game. And so on the play, I think Liliana the Veil's still pretty clunky, still pretty awkward. Maybe we still only want one, but maybe we can bring back a second Bob on the play. Yeah, Bob was pretty good there, just didn't... You know, the top of our deck just was not complying, so maybe we just trim a Thoughtseize here on the play. We don't really want to see more than one Thoughtseize at all anyway. I mean, we really don't necessarily even want to see the first one, but I think leaving it in is fine. Probably better than the second Lily or the third Fulminator Mage or the Kitchen Finks. So, yeah, I like this. Alright, well, we took a mulligan to 6, and we stayed in the game, and we could very, very easily have won that there against a turn 1 Hardened Scales, keeping 7 on the play. So, I'm pretty happy with that. Just didn't quite break our way. The client appears to be pretty laggy after this update. All these London mulligans slowing everything down. Oh my goodness. I don't think this hand can beat Hardened Scales. Got 'em all. Opponent's just keeping 7 all 3 games. Pretty tough. We'll keep this one, though. This is a good hand. And I guess we just kind of have to bottom tracker here. We just need to make sure we curve out. So, yeah. Okay, they've got a hand that's very light on gas, so we're going to take away Walking Ballista, and then next turn we can Brutality to take away Dismember if we want to. Okay, Opal Citadel pass. Yeah, with Tarmogoyf in the offing, I think we're supposed to protect our threat that way and try to ride it to victory. Feels bad to spend Brutality on something that's not a kill spell, but hey. Okay, they drew a Steel Overseer. That's decent, but not that scary yet. We draw Tracker, sure. Not very good, actually. We just want removal at this point. But hopefully this Goyf gets us there. It really, really can in theory. They have Canopy into Stirrings, pretty good. It is all forests in their hand, right? Did I get that correct? Whatever, I think so. Walking Ballista was their draw, so... Well, we're gonna find out. We gotta Inquisition that away, which Inquisition is a fine draw. Okay. Well, play out our Scoos. Attack for 5. Okay, looks like it's a possibility that our threats just get us there. Alright, Treetop Village, huh? So our two options here are to attack with Goyf and Skooz. We have two creatures in the yard. So we could... of course, attack with both. And then we're not doing anything else, really, with our turn. This is actually kind of a tough call, but I think we are supposed to just simply attack with Goyf, play Tracker into land. That's the most efficient play. Alright. Opponent's got a lot of live draws, but Spellskite is kind of sort of one of them. Not the scariest thing I've ever seen, and we draw a piece of removal, which is pretty nice. So, yeah, we just point that at the Overseer, force them to spend life redirecting it. Yeah. Yep. Oh, of course, Mox Opal. No life spent, but sure. We get rid of the Skite. And once again, we can kind of only attack with Tarmogoyf, but that's alright. We've got lethal next turn. Wow. Okay, we got there with with basically no spot removal. We just drew a Maelstrom Pulse. We had Brutality, which could, in another progression, have been a piece of removal, but that was of course used to take away the Dismember to protect our Tarmogoyf, and the Goyf got us there with an assist from some stuff that didn't really ever turn sideways, but would have in the upcoming turn. So that was an interesting match. I'm super happy to start off this competitive league with a win against a tough matchup. The opponent definitely flooded a little bit more than should typically be expected. But you know, Kalidas got us there game one. Kalidas could have got us there game two if we'd probably found just a timely piece of removal for the Overseer. And then, of course, here in Game 3, they just kind of didn't have all that much going on. Our discard spells were solid there. Our discard was quite good. So, I think in the past I've sided out all three Thought Seizes, but here you saw me leaving 2 on the draw, 1 on the play. I think that was definitely, the power of discard was on evidence here. We drew it at the right time, granted, but I'll take it. Good start, my friends. Good start. And we mulliganed, all 3 matches, or maybe just 2? The London Mulligan. This is a strong hand. Yeah, we'll keep it. Strong hand in a blind game 1. We're facing the same guy we just played? Am I going crazy, or is that the case? Is this another Hardened Scales matchup? Well, let's find out, but if so, our hand is good. It is. Wow. Okay, they have Worker, Ravager. Well, we're going to take a Ravager. We're going to kill the Worker with Brutality next turn, then we're going to go on the Liliana plan. Unbelievable. I don't want to play Hardened Scales again, but we'll do it. That's pretty funny. Okay, so, yeah. Collective Brutality, pass to you. And here's a Hangerback Walker, which is slightly better against Liliana, but obviously we still just run her out here. Drawing all these lands has been bad, but hopefully Lily will just get us there. Okay, Ravager and Forests, so all things we know about. Tireless Tracker would be a pretty good draw if not for our lack of green land in play right now, so I guess instead we just do this first, see what they do. Alright, so they have consumed the token, and that's pretty fine with me. Alright, I'm going to activate Field right now. See if this prompts a welding jar. Maybe that's a little loose. Let's think. So, yeah, why don't we actually give that a shot? Just forces them to make a decision here. Will they sack it to the Ravager? They will. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So here we're going to plan to Fatal Push the Ravager, which is going to trade with Welding Jar, but we'll at least tap it down, let our Liliana live. We got a Hangerback Walker. That's a good one. Gemstone Cavern's interesting tech. So beginning of combat, it's fetch, Fatal Push. We'll get green. And here comes the Walker. Yep. All right, well, fairly awkward. This Ravager is putting in a ton of work against Liliana, which would otherwise kind of be unstoppable here. But yeah, we keep So if we kill the Walker, we allow them to kind of have free reign with the Ravager. They're going to force probably a chump block from our Tireless Tracker. If we shrink the Tracker, the Walker just grows. I think we need to kill the Walker before it gets out of Liliana range. I do. So, interesting decision, but pretty sure that's still the play. Tracker time. And I don't think there's any need to fetch main phase. We might as well bluff removal. Don't think they'll have Dismember or anything like that. Here, in game one. It's a little hard to keep my head straight here because, of course, we just played this guy, right? So, yeah, I think we're chumping here. I think Liliana's so good that we're chumping. So let's make our clue. And yeah, they are both coming at Liliana, so sure. Jump block. Feels bad. But keeping our Lily around, keeping, made a couple clues. And there's another tracker where that came from, so sure. And I think we're just taking our value where we can get it. So I think we're just doing the guaranteed value play, even though we could try to dig to removal of tracker, make 2 more clues. And then it will be an open question as to whether we actually do want to chump with this tracker, right? I don't know, but I do think that's the correct play here. Maybe, we'll see what they do. We'll see if they do anything before they go to attacks, but at this point it might be time to let the Liliana go. She's done a lot of work. And our tracker can get big enough to really compete. Alright, they are coming at Lily, so let's crack a clue for information before we decide. Abrupt Decay. Interesting. So if they don't have a follow-up, then Liliana can continue taking over the game. But if they do... Ooh, I don't know. I don't know. I think this makes us actually want to chump block. Because if they have a follow-up, we can just kill the follow-up with Lily, maybe, and then decay the Ravager. So yeah, I'm going to chump. Very tough call, though. I did not expect to be doing that, but looks like it's going to pay off. Looks like the opponent doesn't have anything else really going on. They just scoop to the decay. Sweet. Alright, interesting one. Apparently our choices were correct throughout, or at least correct enough to succeed. Wow, good little run here against Hardened Scales. May it continue through games, through the post-sideboard games. Such an intense matchup, it really is. So, I don't see any reason to deviate from our previous plan. That means we played these 7 cards, was it? I do believe. And on the draw, we lost just 1 Thoughtseize. We lost 3 Lilianas. We lost 3 Bobs. And that was it, I do believe. Let's take a look. And take a breather. Hardened Scales, keeping us on our toes. So, yeah, looking good to me. Looking good to me for game 2 on the draw. Opponent likes their 7. We've got double Fatal Push. We've got Liliana. We've got Trophy. This is a keep. It needs a 3rd land, and there's no turn 2 threat. But the hand's good. Inkmoth Relic. Interesting. Okay. Blooming Marsh is a good draw. Relic does not bother me whatsoever with this hand in particular, but of course it's a fine side-in for them. Overseer, very happy to push that. Inquisition, what a good draw. Inquisition you. They will Relic in response, sure enough. Let's see what they're working with. So they have an Ancient Stirrings they cannot cast. They have 2 Walking Ballistas into Dismember. Well, I don't care about the Dismember at the moment. And they cannot cast the Stirring, so I guess we just take Ballista? Yeah. I mean, Ballista's a heck of a card. I'm pretty fine to take that. A lot of their good progressions end up with them leveraging that somehow anyway, so... Okay, so the opponent drew a land for turn, which means here comes that other walking Ballista, which we're... I guess we hold our Fatal Push here. We're just going to kill it with Liliana. So let's go get our other Overgrown Tomb out of the deck. Swamp is a fine draw. It means our tracker is going to do some work this game at some point. Liliana the Last Hope. What a card. What a Magic the Gathering card. They'll get to ping her in response, and then they'll get to try to attack her down a little bit with the Nexi, but don't expect it to be lethal. Yep, here comes one of them. Okay, Mox Opal. Let's lets him cast the Stirrings finally. It's pretty good. Stirrings for Pendelhaven. Also pretty good. Okay, Lily down to 1. So, couple options here. Number one, we could just tick her up, play Tracker, shock in the Overgrown Tomb, and push the one that they don't Pendelhaven. But they can just choose not to Pendelhaven and they'll kill her. So if we want to keep the Liliana around, which I think we do, then we just play Blooming Marsh, tick her up, and say go. That way we have both push and trophy. And we're also not giving them a mana-efficient turn by walking our tracker out into Dismember. I'm fine with their Dismember trading with my tracker if I get a clue in general, but we don't really, that's just another reason not to do what we were going to, what the other line I described was. So here come the Nexi, and here come our removal spells. Alright, so we're going to push one. They're going to Pendelhaven the other. We're going to trophy that one. And our Liliana lives. So this does give them that mana, so once again, Dismember for our tracker is live. But Lily of the Veil, it's an interesting one. We can't quite empty our hands, so I guess we trade the tracker with the Dismember here pretty clearly. Coming out ahead on advantage due to the clue. And I'm going to shock this in so I can draw the clue at the end of turn. Our life total is so high, I think that's correct. And we definitely want to keep the Lily around. So we tick her up. We pass. Here comes Dismember, I'm certain. You got it. Overseer, yep. So they can protect this from Last Hope with Pendelhaven, but I guess we'll probably make them do that, and then, let's just see what we draw. Dark Confidant. It's a pretty good one. Yeah, so we tick up. Here comes Pendelhaven, sure. Then we'll simply Edict it away, play the Bob, pass. This is what I mean in some of these matchups where Liliana, the Veil's bad, still leveraging exactly one can be quite nice. She's not going to win you the game single-handedly, but as part of a good progression, she can be real nice. So they've got Ravager, which, with nothing else to speak of, means we are in business. We just trophy it away. And I don't think the opponent can win from here. We'll hang on to our trophy, so we'll get Lily of the Veil back into Edict range, pitch this fetch land, take the Last Hope up, and attack with our Confidant. That's it. Wow. All right, guys. We faced the same Hardened Scales player twice in a row, a matchup we don't want to see here in a competitive league with the opponent seeming to have been playing optimally, seeming to have been playing very, very well from everything I can tell. And we're 2-0. So we've had, make no mistake, we've had some good draws. But let's mix it up. Let's play somebody who is not Machism here, and not a Hardened Scales player by another name either. Thank you very much. All right, we're against Stone Peanut, so we've won the die roll. And our hand is pretty fine. Hope Fatal Push is good, otherwise we don't really have interaction here, but yeah, it's a keep. Opponent takes a mull. I like it already. Down to 5. Wow, okay. Down to 4. Down to 3? This has got to be Tron, Dredge, something that can reasonably win on such a low mull. Okay. So there's a consideration for playing Verdant Catacombs here, because maybe they'll scoop without revealing information, and Catacombs is less telling than Treetop Village. So that's a thing, but maybe I'm still just going to play the quote-unquote correct land. I mean, if they want to just... Yeah, it's Tron, okay. If they want to just keep playing till the scoop is on, then that's what they'll do. Inquisition's an interesting draw. Do we Inquisition or do we Tarmogoyf? I think we just play Tarmogoyf because we have Field of Ruin. But there's no need to expose the field quite yet. Oh my goodness, they have it. They have turn 3 Tron through the mulligan to Oblivion. Thankfully for us, we have the Field of Ruin, but man, that is funny. That is funny. So, we attack. Power plant, sure. So does it matter if we hit the tower right now? Probably not in game 1, but at the same time, you know, we already... The main thing is to make them make their decision before you use your field in a situation like that, so let's just hit the tower. They played the tower second, so they're less likely to have a backup 1 naturally in hand. Play the sphere, crack the sphere, play the power plant. Pass the turn. Alright, so I still wonder if Inquisition is any good. And I guess it is, because we can just follow up with another Tarmogoyf, so I can buy that. Let's see if Inquisition hits. If not, it grows the Goyf. Yeah, it hits a Sylvan Scrying, but they have Tron and Ugin in hand? You're not serious. You're not serious. What? What? Well. We're gonna lose to Tron after they mulled the 3? Is that what's happening here? Yeah, I think it is. That's tilting. So 3 damage to any target. We kind of have to incentivize the Ugin to take down, I guess, but at the same time, we don't want to just give up both our Tarmogoyfs, so I'm going to play Skoos. Okay, so we need a Pulse or Trophy off the top. Can you... What's the meme? How does it go? Wow, something Tron. Wow, blank Tron. I don't remember. Unbelievable. Thoughtseize. Right on time, Thoughtseize. Right on time. Well, I guess we cast it, play Tarmogoyf. We've got to play the Goyf because it doesn't die to the Ugin. Deal 3. The Ugin Lightning Helix. It's not a Lightning Helix, what am I talking about? The Ugin Lightning Bolt. Yep. Alright, so we can kill it with the Treetop Village, but of course they just rip a Karn. I forget how it goes, guys. Wow, blank Tron. Wow, something Tron. Trophy. Man, we're just a step behind. We've got the answers, we're just a step behind. So we will trophy Ugin. I think we're kind of just dead here to the Karn ticking up. But yeah, if there's one deck that can beat you on them all to 3, it would be this one. If our Inquisition had been a Thoughtseize, we're just in business. But alright, so if they brick and we draw another trophy or a pulse, we're still in the game. And we did. Sweet. Okay. Well, you know, our top decks have been good, considering everything. We are still top decking now against Tron and their Tron line, so I'm not optimistic, but I cannot complain about the quality of our answers in this particular situation, but the opponents are ripping all the gas too. Yeah, we've gotta play out into it. At least, Quagmire was a fine one there. And they just O-Stone it all away, sure. Again, we didn't have any choice there. Wormcoil. I mean, their top decks have been crazy good. Crazy good. Well, we've come this far. We'll play it out. Quagmire can trade with Wormcoil at least. Okay, we have another Quagmire in prolonging our agony, incentivizing us to keep playing it out. Again, unlikely to beat the Tron deck in this type of scenario. There's Karn. Alright, that's enough for me. Well, I'll take one more draw step, but it's gonna probably be enough for me. Liliana. Yeah, she doesn't do it here. Gotta hand it to him. Gotta hand it to him. They mulled the 3 and they kicked our butts. Good game. Good game. Well played. So, let us go to the side and Fulminator Mage, Maelstrom Pulse, and Surgical Extraction are basically the cards that we are interested in. Nothing else really does enough here. There's some marginal utility for a card like Kitchen Finks that's just kind of a generic threat that can survive Oblivion Stone. There is some marginal use for like Collective Brutality on the play to take away Sylvan Scrying in some unusual scenarios where you don't have a better turn 2 play, but I don't like bringing those in. The furthest I go to that is leaving in my 1 Brutality sometimes. So in terms of what comes out, it's pretty simple. Against Tron, we cut pushes. We cut Lily the Last Hope, who does not accomplish very much at all. And then we cut either Brutality or a Scooze. And like I said, Brutality has at least some chance of being more than a drain spell on the play. Or a better chance, I guess. So that's where we leave it in. And then on the draw, we just bring back that other Scooze, which is also not very good in the matchup. But we do have a lot of very good cards that we just brought in. So let's see if we can recover from that absolute pasting. The Mull to 3, they found the tower blindly after we answered the tower, and then they just ripped gas. Ugin into Karn into O-Stone into Wormcoil. I think all back to back to back. To back. So, pretty impressive, to say the least, from our Tron opponent. Now, this is a major tilt. We have double Fulminator, double Bob, all of which are great, but we have no black mana. If we had 1 black mana, this would be a keep. It still might be a keep, because if we can find a black source with our first draw step, we can play turn 2 Bob, and then Bob can find us the Fulminator second black. I think that's too risky. We don't have the safety valve of like turn 1 Hand Disruption. Not that we could cast it anyway. Yeah, I think we have to mulligan this. It's close. Yeah, if Village was a Quagmire, if Forest was a Swamp. But it's not, so we mull. Alright, this is kind of the same hand, but functional. So, we'll keep and we'll bottom tracker. London Mulligan has been interesting so far. Opponent is mulling, but, you know, we saw how much that matters, right? They go all the way down again to 4. Alright, now we've got, like, Bob into Fulminator into Liliana, so I don't know if they can beat us with a low mull this time, but maybe I should not have said that out loud, right? Famous last words. Anyway, we'll see. We'll see. Overgrown Tomb tapped and passed to you, my friend. They've got the turn 1 Tron into map. That's a good start. We've got the Bob. Alright, Bob, you really need to survive, and you really need to find us an untapped land, because they've got turn 3 Tron ready to go again. Come on, Bob, show us an untapped land, please. Okay, he did. That is absolute perfection. So, we will attack with Bob. And now we kind of have to main phase. No, actually we don't. What am I talking about? It's the same principle as Field of Ruin. We'll wait till they fetch something with a map here. They reveal the mine, and once again, we'll just hit it while they're tapped out, and we'll hit the tower because they played it second. They go Mine, Relic, Exile, Fulminator, Map. Okay. We're flipping all kinds of action. We've got Decays and Pulses, so I think we need to destroy this Expedition map. And even though it's less mana efficient, I'm kind of inclined to Abrupt Decay it. I think that's correct. It's very tilting to not have drawn a land here, though, but we'll decay the map. We'll get in with Bob. Alright, no more lands, please. Can you brick on lands for a minute? They did. Wonderful. Alright, so Bob flips a Tarmogoyf, which is pretty good, but I think my best play here is Liliana of the Veil. So here comes the Bob, and let's play Lily. Let's get rid of our other Bob. They get rid of an Ulamog. Well, you got it. Opponent scoops. All right, no land for the nth turn running, and we got there. This time their low mulligan was manageable for us. So, yes, I am glad that we took a mulligan. We mulled to a really nice 6. That was helpful. So here, on the draw for game 3, we will simply bring back a Scoozy and call it slightly better than a Collective Brutality, although, again, they're both kind of bad. And the rest of our setup looks pretty ferocious, considering we're a mid-range deck against Tron, considering that it's kind of the archetypal matchup we don't wish to see. Opponent's mulling, so what do? Well, I mean, we've got Trophy into Surgical Extraction. We've got a lot of other good turn 2 plays, so even though this hand's very clunky, with no hand disruption and some kind of negative value plays, potentially I still think it's a keep. Oh, the opponent actually kept a full hand almost this time. We'll see how it goes for us. Power plant map. Another Bob is about the last thing I wanted to see. I really wanted to draw a hand disruption there, or to draw like something that's good for the late game. Or just more lands, so I know I'll be curving out. Field of Ruin, it's too slow. Here we just need to trophy and extract in order to not get Troned, and that's our plan. So here we're going to let them fetch. Urza's Mine. Yep. So we'll trophy now, and then we will extract on their draw step. And hopefully get a card out of their hand this way. We did not. So we see Stirrings, Karn, O-Stone, Scrying, Mine, World Breaker. Cool. Lots of gas, no lands to really speak of at the moment, but let's see what is all in their deck. We see 3 total relics as sideboard tech to worry about. 3 Thragtusks, that's a big one against us. Otherwise, it's kind of all the same stuff that we're used to seeing in the main decks, so sure. All right. And here comes Scrying, just to make sure they continue hitting their land drops. Into Ancient Stirrings. Finding Oblivion Stone. Alright, so their hand is Mine, Worldbreaker, O-Stone, I think double O-Stone and Karn. if I'm not mistaken. And we draw Inquisition of Kozilek, so yeah, I think it's pretty clearly Inquisition into Tarmogoyf time. And that's fine. Yep, double O stone indeed. So the best thing they can do is just keep drawing lands, and we have kind of thinned out their lands. That's one of many reasons it's good to extract the Tron land in this matchup. To state the obvious, perhaps, but that's the case. Pulse was a great draw. Pulse was a great draw. We are simply going to take care of that O-Stone and race. Hopefully find a window for some good stuff later, and they're continuing to curve out, so they can still really beat us, especially with a Thragtusk. That's a little scary. Ooh, you know what I didn't do? I didn't take a screenshot, and I also didn't count how many basics they play. That was a mistake. I should have looked at the basics. However, they almost certainly play more than 2, so regardless of how many basics they actually have, we still just play out creatures right now, and those creatures are going to be a Bob and a Goyf. I think we're going to attack with this Goyf. We've got to just batter through, if possible. The opponent might think we're bluffing some way to grow the Goyf here, but either way, they probably are supposed to assign the block. And that's, you know, I mean, Thragtusk is amazing against us, and that's why. But we've got the good follow-ups. Again, we just hope they brick on lands. Chromatic Star is going to cantrip immediately to dig for a land, I assume. They found a land. Well, one more land and they're casting Karn, they're casting Worldbreaker. It's tough. Very tough. So we want Fulminator Mage here. Lily of the Veil is good. Lily of the Veil is very good. So we're just dumping our hand here. Attack with the Goyf first. Alright, if they brick on lands for 1 turn, we are in such good shape. So just brick this 1 turn, opponent. Just this 1 turn. They did. Okay, Relic is a good draw for them, though. We will exile... Doesn't really matter. One of our sorceries, I guess. Oh my goodness, Bob is just destroying us with with the Bob triggers. Absolutely wrecking us. So I guess we just have to take up and get that Karn out of their hand, basically. This is good. It forced them to crack the Relic as well, which means our Goyf will be rebuilt more swiftly. They still have the Karn. Okay, so Sylvan Scrying is what goes out of their hand. Yeah, not much we can do about it. So one option here is to... Yeah, so I think we're going to attack with the Goyf and field them to grow the Goyf either before or after blocks. Then we can go Tracker into land. Alright, I can't believe our Bob triggers were that painful, so we're at risk of that too. Oh, and they rip Sanctum of Ugin. Literally the best possible land for them to draw. That is insane. So they get to Karn, they go get Wormcoil, of course. Now they're gonna probably, yeah, just exile Lily. Now we're in trouble. Trophy, Inquisition, Extraction. Okay. What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? What do we do? Gotta think this one through. Wow, I'm so far behind on the clock. My opponent's probably annoyed by me. My apologies. So, we've got 6 lands. We obviously have to get the Karn off the field. So if we, let's say we trophy away the beast, then we can just attack with impunity. Inquisition does nothing. I don't think Hissing Quagmire is able to be fired up here yet. So I guess we're pretty safe to actually crack a clue first to see what we get. Maybe we draw... Yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll just see what we draw. Thoughtseize. I mean, that's good, but of course our Bob triggers could just kill us. But we might be at the stage where we just simply have to hope Bob doesn't kill us. We'll present lethal next turn. I think that's the play. I think that is indeed the play. So, yeah, we cannot really do anything else. Sure. We got to put our faith in Bob. He's been pretty harsh so far, but we'll do it. All right, Thoughtseize you. Take the Wormcoil. It's a card we can't beat right now. Trophy away your beast. So Tracker will finish off Karn. The rest of these fine folks will go to face. And then we are going to draw step Surgical Wormcoil Engine, just in case they top deck one. Paying life, not paying life, of course. Okay, they have an Urza's Mine in hand. Not that it matters now, but they are out of basics, so sure. Okay, so it's really just do our Bob triggers kill us or not. Come on, Bobby. Come on, Bobby. No! No! Oh, these Bobs were so painful, it's ridiculous. And he flips the Kalitas. The Kalitas! So, Inquisition... Oh, and Fulminator, we were taking 7 from Bobs this turn. That is just insane. Oh, that is such a beating. That is such an absolute beating. Somebody watching this can go back if you're so inclined and count the damage we took from Bob's. It was enormous. We were I think we took 6 from the first double flip with 2 Tireless Trackers revealed. Maybe that's wrong, but they didn't. Did we take like just about our whole life total from our own stuff? I think we did. However, the Bobs, of course, were drawing us all the gas. That's so unlikely. That's so unusual. It happens. It happens. Oh my god. All right. Moving on, this hand is a little clunky, but it's a fine one. We'll keep it in the blind game one. And I think the nature of our lands means we are just running out Quagmire. Definitely seems better statistically than to shock in the tomb and hope they have something we can push and then still not have a second untapped colored source next turn, right? Mishra's Bauble, Polluted Delta, this is Grixis Shadow. Pretty fine matchup for us. Pretty happy I kept 7, of course. In an attrition-based matchup like this, they're going bottom with that Serum. And, okay. We just play the Skoos. Trophy's a fine draw. Can take care of an Angler. We've got Push for Shadow, and we've got Skoos to keep the graveyard a little bit under control if it's a more of a slow developing game, but of course they have answers to all of these things too in the form of removal and hand disruptions, so we'll see what happens. Man, I can't believe the Bobs killed us. I had such faith in you, Bob. Oh well, new game. Here comes a Dismember. Yep. Maybe, okay. It would have been nice for us if they had gone fetch, play the Shadow, and we could push it freely, but that's not the case, so interesting spot here. The obvious line is Overgrown Tomb tapped and passed, but then we can't hold up Trophy. So I think even though... No, I still think we do. I still think we do. Tracker into 2 clues is just too good. And we're still holding up Fatal Push against like half of their threat suite this way. Guess the other option was actually Field of Ruin. Then we could have fielded this Blood Crypt like on the draw step, maybe. But that's probably a little aggressive at this stage. Steam Vents. Yeah, here comes an Angler with Stubborn Denial backup, so it's pretty good. Okay. Well, Tracker make 2 clues is the play. And I'm pretty happy to just get Swamp here. It does kind of bluff that we have Fatal Push, but I think we should definitely fetch main phase while they don't have removal of their own up, unless it was another Dismember, which would be a little sketchy of them to play. And, yeah, I'd rather just not take 2 unnecessarily when we were facing a big threat like this. They are turning it sideways, okay. Fair. Probably means they have a Shadow. Ooh, Teamer Battle Rage? Yeah, okay. Yeah, Shadow to follow it up, Stubborn Denial backup. That's their threat suite, and it makes sense. But we've got some good answers here. Oh, that just resolves, huh? Interesting. Okay. Really makes you wonder if they actually have the Stubborn Denial. So, potential lines are... I don't know if I want to give them a land with Field of Ruin. So what if we start by cracking a clue? That could be fruitful. And just like growing the tracker where it can trade with Angler is definitely the medium-term goal. So, yeah, I'll crack clue here. Blooming Marsh. I think we play Forest so we can hold up Trophy and push. Or Clue and push. But we're not attacking. Because we're dead to another Teamer Battle Rage. If we do. I'm very happy to trade Tracker with Angler the old-fashioned way here. If the opponent has a discard spell here, that's a little bad. Thought Scour, you got it. Mills over a couple Stubborn Denials. Maybe they just haven't had Stubborn Denial this whole time. That's very possible. But alright, so here's the million-dollar question. Do we crack Clue and then trade? I think we do. I think that's better. I think that is better. If they've got another Teamer Battle Rage, they've got another Teamer Battle Rage. And we're flooded pretty badly, but they've got another TBR, really. That's tough. Yep. Okay, we go to 3. We're dead to another hit, of course. Dead to some other things. Here comes another Angler. Yep. Okay, Maelstrom Pulse. Where are you? Where art thou? Okay. Lily of the Veil will do as well, so we get to Edict. Okay. Well, cancel. Let's tap correctly. Edict. Then Trophy. Then play a Blooming Marsh. So we're actually... Our life total is just so low, but otherwise we're in okay shape. But, you know, Snap... Oh, they just scoop? Sweet. I was going to say Snapcaster Mage could pose a problem. You know, red spells obviously could pose a problem, although those are more at home in the sideboard of Shadow, but we got there. Sweet. So, I will take it. Looked a little bit grim there for a minute or two, but we pulled out. And we have a pretty good configuration against this deck. We like Nile Spellbomb. We like Maelstrom Pulse. I think EE is worth bringing in. Kitchen Finks is good. Fulminators in some number are pretty sweet. Damnation's good. Last Hope is great. And that's enough. You know, that's enough to consider. So maybe EE is a little bit more in this tier, but I think it's coming in. Yeah, we don't want anything else. And I cut most, if not all, discard, including Collective Brutality. We consider leaving one Thoughtseize in, but I think with my current configuration, that's going to come out too. So those are the like-for-like changes. I'm going to cut a land here. It'll be Forest. And that lets me bring in this EE. And then from there, I might diversify my removal a bit. I like EE slightly more than push, so we can cut a push, replace it with an EE. I think that's fine. But is there anything else, you know? So maybe we cut a push, cut a Thoughtseize to play a couple Fulminators. I rate Fulminator pretty highly in this matchup, so I'll do that. And then we're pretty hedged all around. Everything else we have is great. And the opponent might give us the play here, and I think that's fine. I understand why they do it. I think it's correct that they do it. But I still take the play when I get to choose, right? Because I like playing my Lilianas before they get a turn 3, basically. Alright, our hand is sweet. They are taking the play, and they are mulling. That's good for us. We will keep, for sure. We hope they don't have a heavy hand disruption hand, but failing that, we should be alright. They don't have a turn 1 hand disruption anyway, so we'll take it. And how good is it to fetch here? Yeah, I like getting a tomb out of my deck early, I guess. Sure. Can't believe the opponent did not have a turn 1 play at all. That's so unusual for Shadow, but, you know, they took them all, so they're just keeping a functional hand, I guess. Alright, go get our Overgrown Tomb, and then we're going to run out our Bob into an almost certain death, but... Nile Spellbomb is an interesting one, but I think we slow roll that a tad. And Tarmogoyf dies to Lightning Bolt just like Bob does here, so yeah, we'll play the Bob. Higher upside if he lives, and helps our follow-up of Tarmogoyf at some point be better if he does not live. No kill spell for Dark Confidant? Wow. What do they have, like Kolagin's Command here or something? But either way, I'm very surprised they had no action early and no kill spell. This could be very well be a K command or a Liliana, which would be a beating. But Last Hope, well, that is a brutal, brutal beating. But we have double Last Hope of our own, so I think we just take care of their Last Hope while they're tapped out, and we can buy back the advantage we lost there at some point. But you can see how they're advantaged being on the play here. This is what I was talking about, the play still being pretty good in this matchup. The fact that they were able to Last Hope our Bob on curve, yeah, that was pretty awesome. So, yeah, and now that they got their Angler in under our Spellbomb, yeah, this is the advantage of being on the play, right? So, I guess we're just running out our stuff here. Not really sure if it should be Bob or Goyf. I'm actually going to go with the Bob. We missed a land drop, and that's pretty bad, considering how ahead on resources we are. So let's go Bob, let's go Spellbomb, and trust in the top of our deck to outvalue theirs. Maybe able to take a hit or two from Angler. They should not have Temur Battle Rage in the deck post-side. Fatal Push, that's a good one. They probably had that Fatal Push the whole time, actually. They just chose to answer the Bob with Liliana. I guess Lily the Last Hope exactly would have been a reason to play Goyf there. They got Thoughtseize. Alright, they've got a really good progression here. We're still drawing So Live, we've still got a lot of outs, but right now they're ripping us up pretty well. Seems like they might have Stubborn Denial too. That's kind of the signal I'm getting, but they could just be bluffing it too. Another Tarmogoyf. Well, that's a good draw. Yeah, that's a good draw. We'll play it. Another Fatal Push. Yeah, okay. So if they just go land into Angler here, that's bad, but I still kind of want to slow roll my Spellbomb a little bit more than that. I think we need to crack it now, though. We're being put on the ropes here. Takes away some good Snapcaster targets as well. Alright, Kitchen Finks is a good draw. And, yeah, that's our play. Should extend the clock by at least one turn. Kitchen Finks into Treetop Village is a good turn. And you know, we can grind for days with a couple Lilianas. Ooh, forcing us to discard, dealing 2 to the Finks. Tough call. I think we do pitch a Lily here. She's obviously fine in multiples. We'll be very sad if they like discard the other one. She's fine in multiples over the course of a grindy game, I should say. I think we have to hold the EE because I don't think we're going to beat a Shadow. I don't know if I see a reason to take a block here quite yet with Finks. Maybe we do just so we get it in the graveyard and then buy it back with Liliana. Yeah, so I think for that reason I do take the block. Is this yet another angler? That would be a little brutal, I must say. A Shadow, sure. Okay, Tracker is not great at the moment, but should be fine at some point. So we're going to start off trying for the EE on 1. If this draws Stubborn Denial, then they're empty-handed. We will play Lily, buy back the Finks. Okay. It might be greedy. It is greedy to play the Lily here, but it might be correct. We might have to go for the greedy line here, in other words. You know, if they have like a Braid next turn or something, we get punished for it, but I think we have to go for the greedy play here. Or if they were being super patient with Stubborn Denial. But we're going for the high upside play here. Trying to buy back a Kitchen Finks. Or something else. We'll see if she resolves and then take it from there, see what she hits. The stub? Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I don't think our line was incorrect there, but we got punished for it. Now we're dead if they, you know, have, again, Temur Battle Rage still in the deck, which they shouldn't, but... Okay, sure, Tracker into land is actually pretty fine here. We're staying alive this way. Dismembered. Nothing we can do. Let's kill the Shadow because it's fun. Your Shadow's dead, so are we. Okay. That was a good game. Their Liliana of the Last Hope killing our Bob on curve and them being on the play. That's what did it. That's what did it. So, it was a close match. It was a good match. And I still think we're slightly favored here for Game 3, so let's really try to lock this win down. Do we do anything differently on the play? I don't believe we do. Cutting the forest is a little worse on the play, but still ultimately correct in my opinion. Yeah, let's do it. We will take the play, and this hand is pretty poor, but I guess we just keep it. 2 2 good catch-up cards. We're very vulnerable to discard, but they have not showed us all that much so far. Maybe they sided the majority of it out. So we're going to keep it. We're going to hope for the best, but it's a very, very poor hand, but mulling is so bad. The opponent keeps 7. That's a little bit tough. With a hand like this, we really hope they mulled, but you know, we've got all the top decking power in the world. So, turn 1 Thoughtseize. Yep. It's all right. We're still, you know, completely in it. Trophy. Yeah, I guess. Again, we're trying to fade discard spells here. Honestly, any non-land draw for the rest of the game I won't really complain about. If they've got the turn 2 Angler, we just trophy it, that's fine. Or we can just go to our turn and pulse it. Depends on what we think is better, right? Thoughtseize. Yep. Oh, man. You know, these discard spells, if they had come up at any point last game, we would have won it, right? But they've got them in the opener. Very punishing, but not unexpected. You know, it is what the deck does. Lily of the Veil was a miraculous top deck. That was so good, I cannot even tell you. Cannot even tell you how good that was, so we'll make sure we get our Field of Ruin down, could become relevant, and we'll pitch Swamp here. Okay. Once again, the power of a turn 3 Planeswalker in this matchup being made manifest here. Well, this looks suspiciously like a Snapcaster Mage to me, or maybe a Kolaghan's Command, but I guess they might have just gone Snap Thoughtseize if they'd had one. So, if they've got Kolaghan's Command, I think we need to play Tracker here. I think we need to just play Tracker. Losing our pulse is awful, but we definitely play, and we definitely do take up. Just getting hellbent when we're the ones with the Liliana, or I guess in general when there's a Liliana involved is very wise. And you know, they left the pulse twice, so they clearly feel able to play around it. Not that it's a bad card by any means. It is Snapcaster, so Snap Thought Scour is the play. I'm a little marginally surprised they didn't go Snap Thoughtseize, but you know, perhaps they have more Snapcasters in hand, which is a scary thought. Well, there's one milled over, so I don't know how many they can really have. Oh, there's my yields. Okay. So I don't think I'm gonna take the trade here. Liliana's wonderful and all, but so is Tireless Tracker. Of course, we'll see what they do. Maybe we don't so much have the luxury of that. They have bobbled us to get more information about our next turn. They've got another bobble. They have bobbled themselves. Polluted Delta, so that lets them manipulate their top deck a little bit, but what's their final card? Dismember. Ooh, that's a good final card for them to have. Very good, no question about that. But if we're drawing live with this top deck, we're still in good shape. Remember, they get 2 draws off their bauble now. Alright, top deck, what is it? Nile Spellbomb. Yeah, that's a fine one. Let's get a card out of their hand with Lily. It's just a land, sure. So, we don't have very many good 1-mana spells, so I'm going to just hold up all of my effects and say, go. This plays around discard better. Draw step. Do we actually want to just Spellbomb now for fear of Gurmag Angler? They haven't seen any Anglers. They've seen 2 Snapcasters. Yeah, you know, I think that's actually correct. We're going to Spellbomb now. Angler's a beating. With a Snapcaster on board to take the hit, as it were, from the Liliana Edict. Alright, we just drew a land anyway, so this does not punish us against a targeted discard effect. But the snap keeps coming after us. Coming after our Liliana, to be exact. Alright, end step, crack a clue. Lands and more lands, huh? Alright, Kitchen Finks is a fine draw. I actually think I like Hissing Quagmire better than Treetop Village. So we'll tick up, we'll play Quagmire, play Finks. So ticking up means we lose the village. They had an Angler in hand, so our play was good. Our play was a good one, and this Kitchen Finks is a very good one right now. Alright, I feel like I'm in a good spot, but these games are crazy. You never know what can happen. They have a Shadow. Well, that's pretty good. We have a Dark Confidant. Sure. You know, I think we're supposed to... Edict here. Trust in our Finks to hold the line. And of course, we're staying back with Finks. We have Field of Ruin activation that'll probably happen on the end step here. Alright, they're just passing, and yeah, we'll begin taking them off of red. Alright, Bob, show us the goods, my friend. Tarmogoyf, yeah, that's fine. Fatal Push, that's really good. So let's just try to empty our hand, I guess. Push your Shadow. Stubborn Denial, sure. That's definitely the card they needed to stay alive, but like I said, our draws were still good here. We get the other stub out of their hands, and we just pass. We have Lethal on board, we have an Edict effect for next turn. We're drawing 2 per turn. We should have it. Okay, the opponent's plan, what do they have? Gurmag Angler? Gurmag Angler. Okay, the game goes on. Never mind. We draw another Liliana of the Veil, so double Edict and they're dead. I guess they were dead anyway, but now they're dead in some style. Good games, well played. All right, my friends. Well, we're 3-1. We had the very punishing loss to Tron that has stopped us from being 4-0 right now, but we've cashed the league. Always feels great to be 3-1 or better going into round 5 in these comp leagues. It hurts the old play points tally when you go 2-3 in a comp league and come away with absolutely nothing, right? So, the having cleared that hurdle feels so good. And these have been some fun games. I don't know about you guys. I hope you're enjoying it. I've had a lot of fun this league. Even the Tron loss was pretty fun. Like, all 3 games were pretty darn interesting, if you ask me. So, here we go for round 5. Let's try for the 4-1. Let's try for a good, strong 4-1. We've been doing okay with our die rolls this league, but we've lost this one. You know, come to think of it, I wonder if that London Mulligan was responsible for our loss against Tron. I wonder how good that is. I mean, that's obviously one of the better decks for it. Our opponent's mulled here, so too must we. No land 7 is not where we want to be. Okay, so we have a 2-land 6. We are going to keep it. I just don't really know. Maybe Assassin's Trophy is the pitch here that leaves us with the most efficient early game removal. Alright, our opponent's kept 6 as well. Yeah, I think we should bottom the trophy. We will regret it if it's another Tron matchup. We're pretty dead with this hand against Tron, but I think against most decks in the format, we want the more balanced spread. We want the top-end payoff of Liliana here. So, always a tough call. Gemstone Mine. Well, you know, that's another one where we kind of wish we had arguably had the trophy, but certainly you'd rather have trophy than Liliana here, right? But Inquisition's an okay draw, but I'm pretty certain we just have to Fatal Push the Scout. So this is Amulet Titan, for those who don't know. They do have Amulet of Vigor. Okay, so we're a bit punished for not Inquisitioning, but, you know, maybe they just top-decked it. Otherwise, it's possible they would have just run out the Amulet turn 1 rather than the Scout. So we have drawn lands. This is a very awkward spot. If we had Thoughtseize, that would be the definite play. Inquisition and Collective Brutality can both whiff, both in different ways. And it would be very punishing if they whiffed, not only because it's just a 0 for 1, but because they... but because then we haven't played a threat. Then again, how good of a threat is the turn 2 Scavenging Ooze? I mean, maybe we're just supposed to play it. Maybe we're just supposed to play Scoos here. Yeah, I mean, with only 3 cards, the odds of us whiffing are pretty high. And if we don't whiff, then they're probably low on lands. So sure, I talked myself into playing our 2-2 here. You know, next turn, if they don't do anything at all, Liliana can clear the way and Scoos can get in. They really need a bounce land. I really hope they don't have one, but they need a bounce land so they don't just have to cash in this Gemstone Mine. Why did I say that out loud? Why, oh why do I say these things out loud? Azusa. Okay, well, that's pretty perfect for them, assuming they have the lands to make her good. They didn't play any other lands? Alright, I don't know what's up with that necessarily, but... Okay, so I think we're going to kill Azusa, and I think now that we have a 4th land, the escalation is fairly free. So why don't we escalate Pitching Swamp to kill Azusa and look at the hand. Kill your thing, look at your hand. We get a Summoner's Pact. Okay, that's fine. And we also know that our that our Inquisition will whiff. They have Hive Mind, which is a pretty terrifying alternative win condition here. But we'll attack with the Skoos, and if they don't block, we're gonna fetch a duel. Get 1 more damage across. Eat the Azusa. And I'm glad they didn't block here, because if we don't have anything better to do, we can just Lily kill the plant. They won't get any blocking value out of it. But, you know, we are in trouble. We need to find a way to really get them... Okay, Field of Ruin's an interesting one. They cast another amulet. Sorry, I was like, wait, what did they even do? They cast an amulet. So I think instead of playing Liliana, we actually have to play Field and hold it up for the bounce land. Once again, if there's no block, we'll eat a thing before damage. Yeah, sure. Eat your scout. Yeah, I'm pretty glad I ran out the Skoos. The clock is decent. We're in the awkward situation of kind of having to hold up the field until they play a bounce land here, as far as I can tell, but you know, they're also in an awkward situation where the bounce land is their... Okay, here it comes. And I guess we get Swamp here because there's nothing else to eat with the Ooze yet anyway, and we might need double black at some point, or triple black rather. So they get to reset their Gemstone Mine. They've got a Sakura Tribe Scout, sure. They still just have Bounce Land and Hive Mind in hand. Thinking about turning that plant sideways, my friend? Lily of the Veil, that's very good. That is the play. Lily tick up, obviously, the play. Attack first. They'll finally chump with the plant. In a way, it's a shame that we haven't had a window to kill these X1s with our last hope, but, you know, we were doing better things, right? Sorry, it's the Gemstone Mine that was in their hand, not the Bounce Land, because we destroyed the Bounce Land. So, Hive Mind is their card in hand. They have Ancient Stirrings for turn, which is a great one. Simic Growth Chamber. Yeah. Those are some good hits. Those are some darn good hits. And now they get to cast the Hive Mind, so they get another plant too. Lots of good stuff going on. Alright, Inquisition's a dead draw, so we just play Liliana, we Edict, and we hope they break on the top decks. So tick up, kill the scout, tick down, Edict you. Eat the scout. Attack for 5. So for those who don't know, Hive Mind can just kill us by, they cast a Pact, and we have to copy it. If we don't have the mana to pay for it, we just die. Pact of Negation is usually a one-of if Hive Mind is involved, because a deck like ours just never can pay for the Pact. Alright. Vezufa for Colony Garden is sometimes annoying, but in this case we've got the last hope to keep chugging along. Well, our top deck has just been failing us. But it's fine. Alright, the opponent's got to top deck something here to stay alive, at least. They don't. Alright, so you know what won this game, my friends, is the decision to just play Scooz on turn 2. Didn't look like it would be much of a clock, but it is what got us there. We didn't have another threat all game. There's no way we win this unless we play the turn 2 Scooz there, and that ended up carrying the day. So the unlooked-for hero called Scavenging Ooze in this matchup, where it's usually just kind of a grizzly bear, but, when we interact so heavily, the games get a little freaky sometimes, and that's what happened here. So, a good start to this relatively difficult matchup, but one where we have, once again, a lot of good things to do. Fulminator Mage, Maelstrom Pulse are among them. I have been bringing in just one extraction, even though I now have 2 in the deck, because, there are lots of, Titan is still a really good extraction target, but post-side, some of these Amulet Titan decks have a whole lot of stuff to bring in against us, and it's a lot of one-ofs. It is stuff like, Hornet Queen is probably the biggest one, but there is Rurik Thar, there's Obstinate Baloth, there's Tireless Tracker, there's Chameleon Colossus, and there's all kinds of other stuff. One of the things about a big mana deck like this that's a little toolboxy as well is you can kind of play your fun-ofs and they're still pretty good. So for that reason, I think exactly 1 Surgical is where I want to be. But Fulminators are obviously sweet. Maelstrom Pulse is obviously sweet. We like Damnation here. Deathmark is good enough to play as well. So we kind of have to trim around the edges rather than cut all of one thing, because we still kind of need access to a lot of things. So Decay can come out, a couple pushes can come out. Lily the Last Hope was pretty good at clearing out plant tokens there, but she still comes out. And Collective Brutality, again, it has uses, but it's one of our weaker cards. So, what else don't we like? So we can again, Scooz was good there, but we cut 1. And then, so I was thinking maybe we cut 1 Lily of the Veil on the draw, and then we cut Kalitas on the play. I think that's pretty fair. And let's take a look to make sure it's all pretty sensible seeming. Yeah. Yeah, that's where we're at. So, for those who don't know, for my Patreon supporters, I do a scouting report every month, which is where my people in the the Confidant tier and above get to vote on what I write about for the following month. And then when that month comes around, we write like a long, almost essay style / bullet point style report on an enemy archetype that's popular, that people want to know how to play against. Everything. We discuss everything. So this month's was Amulet Titan. So hopefully we're putting theory into practice here, but we just came away with game 1. Now the opponent's going to keep 7, and we keep this one as well. This is a good hand. It doesn't have like the land destruction element of things, but it's a fine keep. Turn 1 Thoughtseize is going to be the play unless they lead on a scout, in which case we, once again, will push it. And whether we want Bob or Goyf on turn 2 is going to depend on what we see from their hand, if we see their hand at all, and also what we draw for turn. The clock of Goyf is real, but if we don't hit our 3rd land right off the bat, by turn 2 anyway, it might be tempting to play the Bob. Alright, they have Amulet of Vigor still in the deck. These usually get sideboarded out against us, because the games get so grindy. So Thoughtseize is good here to disrupt a potential early kill. And yeah, we've gotta take Azusa here. Gotta slow him down. And if they don't do much, turn 2 Bob into even more Thoughtseizes is good here. We've got a lot of good potentials, so let's make sure to keep track of their hand. They just played the Forest for now. It's good practice from the opponent to not expose utility lands unnecessarily early on, right? So yeah, I think it's Bob here. We need that 3rd land more than we need the clock, because they have the prime time eventually coming down, so we need to start finding either lands for Liliana, or we need to find more discard spells. So Simic Growth Chamber we didn't know about, so we know they've basically got all the lands they need. They found another Azusa. I almost said this. I was like, taking Azusa is super punishing if they top deck another one. But, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Alright, so, good flips here might be, fetch land plus Thoughtseize, so we can push Azusa and Thoughtseize Titan. But Fulminator, no 3rd land. So we're just kind of boned here with no 3rd land. Yeah, that's so harsh. That is so harsh. We keep a 2-lander, we have 4 hits at a 3rd land, and we don't get it. What can you do? Fulminator Mage would have been real nice there, but here we can't really do anything, so we'll attack with Bob, offer the trade, I guess, but the opponent's rewarded for keeping Amulet in here, and they're rewarded for the top of their deck and the top of ours, respectively. I think there are so many permutations of top decks that make our position here really strong, but it's not to be. So opponent thought about the block, they don't take it, and we just have to play a Tarmogoyf and pass. The good news is we do have an answer to Titan with Pulse, but they're getting pretty far ahead, and their top decks are going to be extremely live from this point on. So all we can do is play out our stuff and see how far it gets us. Amulet Titan's so big in the meta right now, it's crazy. I actually don't remember who said it, but I heard it said a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but, maybe half a year to 9 months ago, before this was much in the meta. Again, don't remember who said it, but somebody said, and I remember thinking that strikes me as true, that Amulet Titan is secretly one of the very best decks in Modern. It's just that the style is not for everybody. And if the style is not for you, then there's no way you're going to actually pick up the deck, because it's really hard to play optimally. It's really unusual to play, and again, the lack of stylistic appeal, perhaps for some. So it's got nowhere near the meta representation that it should, was the claim made way back when, and I said, yeah, that sounds pretty correct to me. And it turns out that seems to be pretty true, because not much has changed for their deck since then. And now all of a sudden, maybe not all of a sudden, maybe gradually over time, Amulet Titan has been climbing the meta shares to the near top tier status that it holds now. So, yep, undeniably very powerful deck. The opponent looked a little unsure of themselves when tapping. I don't know if they... You know, you imagine with Titan and with Azusa and with Amulet, they can do whatever they need to do here, but... Bojuka Bog. Yeah, that's a card. Yeah, so we are just dead here. Very, very dead. As I said, you know, the combination of those three pieces means that they can just kind of do whatever they need to do. As far as getting the lands together to solve the puzzle goes, so that was quite punishing in so many ways. They're rewarded for the Amulet Keep, like I said, and they're really rewarded for top decking another Azusa after we thought seized the first one. And of course, the fact that we did not hit a third land put the nail in the coffin on our turn 3. So anything we'd like to change here for the deciding game here, I don't really know. Again, we have the option to make a little spicy play draw change here. I'm just really considering, based on us seeing Amulet of Vigor, right? Between Amulet and Azusa, do we want to try to bring back the Abrupt Decay? I think we definitely want to bring back the Lily of the Veil. We'll just cut our Kalitas. That was our original plan, but do we want to consider the Decay now? I mean, it's just so bad against Hive Mind and against all of their actual win conditions, but now that we know they have amulets, unless they're going to next level us and side them back out, maybe we want the Decay. Nah, you know, I think siding Amulet out against us is correct. So I think we can beat the Amulet starts. It gives them 4 kind of bad top decks as we drag the game out. And again, it is possible that they just side them back out on the draw after we've seen it. So I'm going to say no to Decay, and we will, of course, take the play. And this is a 2-lander. A very slow 2-lander, but it does have Tarmogoyf into a Fulminator Mage if we find the third land, so I guess we're supposed to keep it. Yeah, I guess it's a keep. We just got a not whiff on our third land. Hope the opponent takes a nice healthy mulligan down to down to a very beatable number of cards as well. Not that I want a non-game or anything, but, you know, with this hand, we have the inevitability, we have the clock we don't want to get curved out on too crazily. Yeah, this hand's got a lot of good... the Trophy and the Pulse are both really good answers. I think this is a hand we have to keep. It's just Clunk City, you know? If this Scavenging Ooze was a lot of other things, if it was a third land, we would be happy. If it was a hand disruption spell, we'd be happy, but maybe unsure how to sequence without some thinking. Yeah, the opponent will Mull to 6 and then be good. Alright. Come on, lands. And come on, slow start from the opponent. Ugh, Amulet of Vigor. Well, we draw Field of Ruin, which is actually awesome. So, we are going to fetch here for a few reasons. Number one, it's growing the Goyf. Number two, it's giving us a black source on the field in case we top deck a black source next turn for Fulminator. Number three, it does not expose our Field of Ruin quite yet, so they might just, if they have a play that makes sense, they can run out of bounce land here, and then we can get it with the field. No bounce land yet. EE on 2, okay? So, we clearly pulse something. And I think it's just got to be the EE here. Makes us have to expose our Field of Ruin, but I think we just pulse the EE. And the clock begins. Remember that we have, we just draw a black land, we have Fulminator, or maybe next turn we can field and fix our mana and then have a turn 5 Fulminator, but we've got a lot of good plays here, and they are exposing a bounce land. So, unless they have, what did they get with Stirrings? They have Coalition Relic. Well, that's a good one. I just want to draw black land for Fulminator. Lily of the Veil. Man, are we ever... Yeah, we're so unlucky to have no double black here. We just have to take the turn off and field. It's pretty awful. Pretty awful. Compared to what we could be doing anyway. Because now everything, now the Lily gets pushed another turn behind. Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, I don't know what kind of instant speed effects they could have, but there's no real reason not to just do this here. It's not like we have Fatal Push to hold up for a Revolt, although I guess we could bluff that, but... Coalition Relic was a good piece of their puzzle here. And, as far as I know, I'm no expert, but I've only started to see Coalition Relic relatively recently. So the presence of Relic in a deck is also another reason I would expect... Oh no, Ramanop Excavator. That's such a beating. At least we have an answer to it next turn, but that is incredibly good for them. Okay. At least we're on double black. Yeah, we've got to Lily away the Excavator and then go on the Fulminator plan. Just hope they don't go off next turn, basically. All right, opponent, you gotta brick for us one time. One time, brick this turn, please. Ramanop Excavator is another one of these, value pieces. They have so much to do against us post-side, it's crazy. I think against almost every deck in the format, we get better. We improve more than they do post-side. Well, they just have the Primeval Titan. Wonderful. Wonderful. Isn't it lovely? We're not dead, though. They only have one amulet, for one thing. And we have answers in the hand for another, but the plan to Fulminator them out of this game is well and truly behind us. So they feel obligated to take care of our Lily, which is a little frightening for the purposes of what's in their hand, but it's pretty fine for us, I guess. Yeah, our hand is just so clunky, it's insane. But pretty happy to pulse the Titan here. And just attack and make them have some stuff. The problem is they've got Talaria West, but there's nothing we can really do about that. Like, we can't just let them have Titan. Take the turn off to Fulminator. So what they're going to do is play a bounce land, get the Talaria West back, transmute, and then cast whatever they transmute. Oh, transmute for Summoner's Pact. Use the Summoner's Pact, transmute for whatever they have they've gotten with the Pact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, they're going to have exactly enough mana to go get a Titan. That's a beating. But I don't think we could do anything differently. Obviously, letting their Titan live, they can do all that, plus still have a Titan. Well, I guess they couldn't do that if we Fulminated the Talaria, but again, them having a Titan already, it seems loose to not just kill the Titan. But, you know, if we had had double black here... Don't know what the holdup is, by the way, for our opponent. But if we had had double black here on curve, what a difference that would have made. But everything got pushed back a turn because we had to fix our mana. That Ramanop Excavator was so good, too. Yeah, Titan's a tough one. Like I was saying before, you know, whether the matchup's favorable or unfavorable, whatever the difference is, or whether it's 50-50-ish, our odds are better post-side than they were pre-side against any deck. Whether it's a favorable one that gets even better, whether it's unfavorable that we close the gap a little bit, or whether it's kind of a 50-50 that we get an edge post-side. Against almost any deck in the format, I think that's true. I think we sideboard better than just about any deck out there. But Amulet Titan, specifically against us, is able to sideboard very well. And we're seeing the fruits of that here with that Excavator, among, I'm sure, many other top-end things that we may or may not see. But they've got a full grip. They've got all the stuff. And, you know, they are rewarded, both sideboard games here, for keeping Amulet of Vigor in, because they had it turn 1, and they've had hands that really thrive off of the Amulet. So... you know, like I said, it is considered pretty stock to side the amulets out. Most of the discussion I could find, most of the guides I could find, recommended doing exactly that against us, because we have a lot of ways to destroy it. It's a bad top deck, and we have a lot of ways to just disrupt their kind of combo-oriented starts. So the conventional wisdom is that they pivot to kind of a big mana mid-range strategy against us. But the opponents opted to keep the amulets in. They've been a little bit more combo-oriented. Oh, they don't even need to bounce Talaria West. They just had Summoner's Pact in hand. Okay, that's kind of even worse for us, because now they get... they've already got this combo between Stronghold and Garrison on the field before they even search. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, we were so close to just totally fulminating them out of this game. But the Excavator set us back, our lack of double black set us back. And, you know, the reason I chose to pulse the explosives rather than the EE is because we would be winning. We would have won the game right now if we were able to just stay ahead of them, like continue stone raining them every turn while smashing in with a huge goif. That would be game. But in retrospect, that is the other line I could have taken, is I could have pulsed away Amulet of Vigor and then lost the goif. But And we didn't have Liliana at the time. If I had known about that I was going to have a Liliana of the Veil, that might have been what the line I would have taken would have been, because then we can realistically play a more attrition-based game. But I think taking away the EE and planning to smash in with the Goyf, because at the time I don't think we had Tracker or Veil or Second Fulminator, so our hand was looking like another 2-drop threat that dies to EE, and then whatever else. Stuff that doesn't necessarily make me confident I can win the attrition-based matchup. So that was the thinking there. We're down to 1, and we draw a Tireless Tracker. So we have to... Our draws could not possibly have been worse, by the way. After a certain point, just never hitting a 4th land. Yeah, it's a bit rough. So we're going to trophy away the Titan and pass. We have to hold our Tarmogoyf back to block this plant. Because of their pump lands. So, good times. We're pretty dead. Pretty dead. But we're going to make the opponent have some more stuff here. They just have it all in hand. They, for 2 turns, had the line of bounce land to return Talaria West, then use that to transmute. However, they have not needed to. They simply have it all in hand, and they transmute for a stylish Walking Ballista kill. Okay, good game, well played. Man, I think we were very unfortunate to have lost these big mana games. Like, we were very, very close to just taking both of the Tron deck and the Amulet Titan deck down. That said, our league in general obviously went fine. We had we back-to-back beat Hardened scales, so that was definitely on the back of some pretty solid draws, and I cannot complain at all about that. So, because we've just got 1 chest, we might as well open it. I think the last I checked, the expected value of opening a chest is better than selling it anyway, but that information might be a little outdated. Oh, the meme card of Meandering Tower Shell. The absolute meme. And Promise of Power, that seems like a very thematically Golgari card. Drawing 5, losing 5, or making a demon. And entwining. Obviously not playable, but definitely, yeah, we got the Golgari theme going on. We've got some big bomb rares in our colors, but nothing good and only 5 play points. Bleh, little bit of a bad chest. However, that is alright. That's not why we're doing it. We're doing it for the games. We're doing it for the gameplay. So, a really reasonable league. I think a really entertaining league. I had fun doing it. The losses that were so close to wins leaves a bit of a sour taste in the mouth because we were so close to a 4-1. But again, with our luck against Hardened scales, I don't think we can complain all that much. But you can see, my friends, how these big mana decks are so beatable. We did not quite manage to do it here, but it was very, very close on both counts. So we finish this league with a good old 3-2, cashing the league yet again, and staying positive on our record, and being honestly extremely close to the 5-0. I guess in another world you could say, well, if we had some worse draws against Hardened skills, we might not have even cashed the league, and that much is true. But I think all in all, we showed that we can compete in any of these matchups. Sometimes the cards just don't quite go our way, and some other times they do. So I'll take the 3-2. It was a pretty solid result at the end of the day. You can never be too mad about a positive record in these comp leagues. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching. I hope you enjoyed the league. I hope you enjoyed the live commentated stuff. I think most of our matches were played by the opponents at an okay clip until maybe the last one. But, hopefully there was not too much dead time for you. And once again, we will thank our 4 brand new Patreon supporters. We have Mike and Brian, who are our Inquisitors. We have David, who is a confidant, and of course we have Jack, who is of the Veil. So thank you to Patreon supporters, one and all. Remember, my friends, if you're not subscribed to the YouTube channel, we're gunning for that 1,000 subscriber mark. You can help me get there by hitting the subscribe button. Remember to like and, of course, to comment to let me know what you thought about these matchups, about the lines that I took. And, yeah, stay tuned to the channel, more gameplay to come. I hope you enjoyed this one, and I will talk to you soon. Have a great night.